Miles with
improve.
Philly in the top 4.
I do have Philly in the top 4. That is what that means. But I do have concerns about the Magic's 3-point shooting.
I don't hate seeing Philly up there because if they do play to their potential, like if Embiid is out there for a good 60 games, even not even like a whole lot, just 60 games.
Keep dreaming, brother.
I'm telling you, they're going to be great.
60.
But I don't think it's going to
happen.
happen.
Stretch.
I don't think he's going to. But this is obviously Miles predicting them actually fulfilling their potential.
Well, and the thing, I even think that if Embiid, let's say he plays 40 to 50 games, I think they could still be this good. I mean, their roster is very solid. It's pretty balanced, across the board. They have backups at each position that are serviceable.
They got 2 playing the 4.
Yeah. Besides the power forward. But no, across the board, they have a lot of versatility. They are running the 2 timeline thing, but I actually think that could help them with this team because we know how good the young players of this team can be. We know how good Jared McCain could potentially be. He was really good. BJ Edgecombe is the 3rd pick. Of course, Maxi's great. Again, we still don't know what's going to happen with Quentin Grimes. That's still something that's going to probably have to get figured out in the next week or so now that we're getting the final stretch before training camp in the preseason. But overall, I just like their roster and the depth that they have across the board. And, last year was just a total disaster. I don't foresee something like that happening again. And I am also buying into skinnier Joel Embiid. I've seen pictures of skinny Embiid in training camp, so I think he'll have a bounce back season. So I'm
ironically, you throughout the whole summer has been can't buy into all these summer workout videos. Well, I don't know. I've seen Evan Mobley and Joel Embiid looking pretty good this summer.
Well, now it's the fall. We're not in the summer anymore. We're in the fall.
Oh yeah, happy fall, everybody.
Exactly. So now it totally makes sense. But no. So I have the Sixers at 4. Ben has the Magic at 4, so he has them top 4. Nick, who's your 4th seed?
Atlanta.
I agree. I have the Hawks.
Yeah, it's I almost never take injuries into account when doing these projections.
But Atlanta Hawks at the 4th seed. So Nick, who's always talking about, man, how do you guys have the Hawks so high every year? He has them as a home court advantage team. So why do you guys have them at 4?
Well, they were my best offseason award. They killed it. They brought in Naw and Porzingis and getting Johnson back. Yeah, I love it. Oh, Kennard was also a great pickup for them.
Yeah, they got great depth. Trae Young literally just had his career high in assists, and he's getting a new big man weapon and one of his electric young guys back in Jalen Johnson. I just think they are honestly really stacked. I really like this team, and a lot of good wing defenders. I know we talked a lot about them in the division preview, but I really like this team, and I don't even think them getting 4 is like the highest potential they can go. Like I think their ceiling is a little higher than this, but I'm going to tamper that down because we haven't seen that yet. I need to see it first before I crown them a little higher.
Yeah. So Atlanta, I have them at 3. I have Atlanta as my 3 seed.
The one thing about the Hawks to watch out for is the Trae Young contract situation, because we talked about it a little bit, and we did talk about it just now with the 20-year-old dude, coming in. There's just constant turnover. There's constantly next man up, and is Trae a max guy? And he doesn't have a contract. He hasn't been extended, so he's got another year on his deal next year. But after that, he's a restricted free agent or unrestricted free agent, and that's important to guys. That is peace of mind when you're on the court. That's the most important thing is your life. Is to take care of yourself and the people around you. And if that's not a guaranteed thing in a year and a half, then you're gonna have some concerns, and that stuff shows up on the court sometimes.
Yeah, that's why that's a huge reason why the Hawks do have some in-house pressure to do well this season across the board. Because for Trae Young, I mean, you could make the case over the last couple of years. Okay, the teams just have not been good enough to really compete. Joey had the Hawks at the 5 seed last season. I had them around that range the year before. When they got DeJounte Murray, there were talks of them being really good. But they just never really lived up to those expectations. But now I would argue that this is the best team that they have had around Trae Young since he's gotten there, with the defense, with the star power. I mean, there's a chance they could have 3 All-Stars in the Open Eastern Conference. They have 3 All-Star caliber players with a chance for Daniels and Risa to take jumps. And they also had, one of the best off seasons with getting Alexander Walker and Kennard off the bench too. So this is the best team that they've had since Trae Young has been there. And with Trae Young, needing to get secured on a contract for next season, he needs to prove that he can lead this team to win. Because if not, then the Hawks, there's no excuses anymore. This is their best team. There are no excuses anymore for Trae Young.
As I say, this is definitely even though it's kind of weird to say it because Trae Young's like a veteran in this league now, it is kind of a prove it year though, because he does have the best team around. I'm looking at that team though, man. That team is very nice. Like you said, 3 potential All-Stars, a DPOY potential, and possibly an Alexander Walker or even the Okongwu as like a 6-man. Okay, they got really good depth. They got kind of guys all over the board.
Yeah,
I love the different sort of strategies that go into roster building. Like this team was kind of pieced together. A lot of it coming this offseason. You got Jalen Johnson through the draft, Trae Young through the draft. It's been like over the years built up. But then here's what I was going to say about Philly. What I've been saying on this podcast in the past is like they brought in they brought in Paul George to kind of solidify their big 3. Like that was a max contract that was controversial, whatever. So the next question I had was like, are they going to do what Phoenix did and not be able to balance out the roster and just have the big 3 and nobody else? But no, what Philly did was they brought in Kelly Oubre. They signed Gershon last year. Like they made moves to actually improve the roster. And that's why I think, Philly, even if Joel, like you were saying, Miles, I totally agree, only plays 40, 50 games, like they still can stay above water. And it's just interesting, like seeing the different strategies that go into roster building. Because like we have the Sixers and the Hawks like right next to each other with 2 completely different strategies.
Yeah, very, very true. Very, very true. So yeah, I mean, the contract situation is going to be something to watch for with Trae Young. And again, even for this Hawks team, they have a lot of pressure too, because Porzingis is on an expiring deal. He's a free agent after the season. So, they have a really good team, but this
small window.
This could be the only year that this team is together. So they're going to need to try and get things done this season, and Porzingis, I think, will probably be the key of that.
Do you guys think that he could get extended if they have a good start to the year?
Yeah,
maybe. I'm not sure if he could be eligible to do that since he just got traded there. Yeah. But he might be because I think Caruso got an extension with the Thunder last year, so I think he could be eligible for that. But we kind of have to see because we even saw last year. He had a really good regular season. Then the illness happened, and he couldn't do anything for the Celtics.
What did he just drop in Eurobasket though?
He did have that crazy, game, the crazy Eurobasket tournament there for Latvia. But that's what I'm saying. You can't really. I feel like with a guy like Porzingis, you can't make any of those crazy long-term decisions in the middle of the season. I feel like you have to wait out a whole season to see what you get throughout the whole year with someone like that. But either way, I'm expecting big things for this team. I know across the board, there are 2 teams at the top here, maybe not in the standings, we'll see, but that are going to be expected to do big things in the playoffs, that are expected to be in the conference finals. But I'm expecting this Hawks team to make a run for a conference finals or a finals, or for them to do what the Pacers did last year. This is the team I'm looking for to have a crazy run this season.
agreed.
But 3 seed, Ben has the Pistons as his 3 seed. This is one of his hot takes. He thinks they're going to be a really good, tough team. This season, super good, a tough team for teams to face. It is going to be very difficult for teams to score on their team. They have a very defensive-minded front court, especially if Thompson and Duren get better. So yeah, Ben's got Detroit basketball as the 3 seed in the East.
He's the biggest JB Bickerstaff fan I ever met.
Yeah, that is actually crazy. Just because I like the Pistons, but their offense is like we were just talking about. Big question marks.
And JB's the head coach. We'll see.
Your offense is not off to a great start.
So we'll see. You two, Joey, who's your 3 seed?
Play the song. Orlando Magic. Let's go, baby. I think Franz Wagner is going to have a great year coming up after winning Eurobasket. After getting carried by Dennis Schroeder, but
Yeah.
just kidding. I think Desmond Payne is gonna. I know he can't fix all of the problems, but at least one person shooting a 40% clip from 3-point range is good enough to open up everything. At least when your starting five is out there.
It's a start to improving. That's for sure.
And Jalen Suggs coming back. I think there's just a lot of positives going into this year. Like regardless, I think they're going to be a top 4 seed, even if their offense isn't that great, and it still looks like it's not going to be that great come postseason. And that'll be a different story. But at least in the regular season, I don't see him falling behind 4. So 3 definitely.
All right, Nick, who's your 3 seed?
I had Orlando as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess, went the safe route with going Orlando 3, Atlanta 4, but I just, I think that's like their predicted spots going into the year.
Yes.
I think that's on the money.
Yeah.
I like this team a lot. They were the 7th seed, sorry. But had probably the biggest offseason move of the year, getting Desmond Bane.
In the East. Shout out Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant. Forgot about that guy.
But no, yeah, for sure. Magic. They definitely could have potential to be in this spot. I'm glad we have them all right in this range. 3.
How many wins you got them, Nick?
50 and 32.
Barely 50 wins. That's where I have the Hawks actually at 4. I have the Magic getting double nickel, 55.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have high win totals in the East at all.
Well, last season actually in both conferences. So last season, New York with the 3 seed had 51 wins. Indy is the 4 seed at 50. And then even in the West, Lakers, Nuggets, and Clippers all at 50. So that's about the mark for your 3 seed as far as last year goes, right in your early 50s range. Well, that means we all have the same 2 teams at the top of the Eastern Conference regular season standings. The question is the order. So, Nick, starting with you, who's your 2 seed?
You guys know I got the Cavs at the 2 seed.
Oh, we knew it.
I'm hating on the hometown Cavs. No, I think the injuries at the beginning of the year are really going to hurt. It's going to hurt in the beginning of the year, like I just said, but it's going to force other guys to learn how to step into their roles and figure out their roles quicker. So I do think that'll maybe pay off on the back end of it towards the end of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd agree. Ben has the Cavs at 2, and I do as well, actually, the Cavs at 2. No, and again, but the thing is, we are obviously at the point where regular season does not matter for this team. I don't care what spot they are in the Eastern Conference. I'd love if they were 1 again. That'd be great because home court advantage, I think, is still important, even though the Pacers took all the games in Cleveland during the series. I do think it is still super important, but I do think that the injuries going into the season are going to be difficult, losing 2 starters. And then even it's actually funny. I was thinking going into this that I would have the Cavs number 1 and then the Knicks at number 2. But I got NBA 2K26. This is a backstory on the release weekend. And I've been playing my NBA as the Cavs. And I have injuries on with Garland and Strus out. I played the first game against the Knicks, and then Mobley got a collapsed lung in the game.
Oh,
you got to turn off injury. If you're turning. Oh well, you said you turned on injuries.
Oh yeah. Keeping injuries on to keep it realistic. But that just had me thinking, okay, if they get another injury, then it just makes things super difficult for them across the way through. And obviously I love the roster. I love the moves they made. Lonzo and Larry Nance Jr. Love those additions to the team. I think they're really going to help the Cavs out. I just think, obviously, the New York Knicks is who 3 of us have at number 1. I just think them coming in with a new head coach, year 2 with all those guys together, and they're going in healthy. I think they have a lot of things going for them to start the year, and I think they will end up getting the number 1 seed.
Agreed.
But Joey, are you reversed?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
I am reversed. I do have the Knicks right below them, and I actually do have both of them winning 60 games and within 2 games of themselves. I have the Cavs at 64 wins and the Knicks at 62.
Oh, okay.
So
you got the
close.
Cavs the exact same record as last year?
Yes.
Yep.
I truly do. And I think the missing of the guys, it's going to suck to start the year, and it's only just, in my opinion, it's going to be bad just because of the chemistry with some of the new guys like Alonzo Ball, because Ty Jerome, when he was healthy last year and obviously fantastic in the regular season, he was on the team the year prior, even though he was just injured. So when he came back, he kind of gelled with everybody. When Lonzo and the guys come back, they're going to have to gel with Lonzo, and I think it might take a little bit because he is going to be a very important part of our team coming up this year, being the backup, given how important Ty Jerome was in that role last year. But I think we have the guys to fill it. I think DeAndre Hunter will, now that he's got a full offseason with the Cavs, he'll come in and he'll be fine if we play him as the starter, unless we want to go D-Wade, which we know he can start, and that's fine too. And then Lonzo will be fine as long as he's healthy. But if he gets injured, obviously, it'll be easily switched with the Knicks coming in first. Knicks are a great team. I got nothing against it. It's just what I think, or hope at least.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that they'll put Hunter in the starting lineup and then Sam Merrill as well? Run Donovan at the 1?
I think it'll be something like that. I personally think that to start the year, they may. You know what? I do think that Hunter will still be in the starting lineup across the board. I think it does kind of weaken the bench a little bit. That's why I kind of prefer Hunter off the bench as far as the regular season goes. But I mean, in the playoffs, I think they will be at their best if Hunter is playing out there. So get the reps with the starters. So if you can do that, I think that's the way to go. I'm actually not too concerned with the Lonzo chemistry thing because I think he's just such a great connector. I don't think he'll have a problem with that goes.
He can play.
Yeah,
he can play.
I think it'll just be more so, you might be right, Joey, with that because of just rhythm-wise, because they're going to have to manage Garland's injury, they'll have to manage Strus's injury, and they'll have to manage Lonzo's injury. We'll see if any of those guys play back-to-backs throughout the season, and if that costs them games. Also, last year, I mean, it was just a magical season for the Cavs last year with 64 wins. A lot of games went their way that probably shouldn't have last year. So I feel like that might catch up to them. But either way, I agree with Joey, where I do think that both of these teams will win 60-plus games in the Eastern Conference. But again, Knicks 1, Cavs 2. In the playoffs, I think there's a chance that gets reversed. But we have to wait and see until that happens. But, yeah, those are our Eastern Conference standings predictions. Nick,
I do have one. Yeah, I had a closing thought or two. I wanted to ask you guys about the Knicks. Like, what would be something like they're bringing in Mike Brown? What are you guys looking for on the offensive end to, like, what do you think he can bring in for them? And then the other question I had after you guys answer that one is about the Cavs and whether or not you think, like, we're talking about injuries and stuff and kind of the whole connotation of the conversation we're having is, like, negative a little bit. So I'm just wondering if you guys think it's how likely do you think is they slip outside of the top 2 and get overtaken by Orlando or the Hawks? Talk about the Knicks first.
With the Knicks, at least, I don't know how much on the offensive end is. I would look at it. I'm looking forward to how he manages the minutes and the rotation and stuff, because obviously the big criticism of Tibbs over the last couple of years in New York is the minutes and everyone getting nearly 40. So I'm very curious to see that and to see if he can get Cat to play defense. I think that's the big make or break with just how the Knicks roll. If Cat can be like a serviceable guy and Mike Brown gets the most out of him and it is at least like a disrupting body in the middle, I think the Knicks
he can get some DPOY votes.
Possibly.
If Sabonis can.
Yeah, exactly.
He can, anyone can. But no, with the Knicks, I think offensively, I'm looking to see maybe Brunson off the ball a little bit more. He had to do so much for that team, over the last couple seasons. I don't even think he is on the roster graphic. No, because it came after. But they did sign Malcolm Brogdon to a training camp deal. So if he makes the team, he'll be a backup point guard that also adds to the depth of this team. I think they are still missing some wing players, but I'm looking to see again how they use Towns defensively. If they run more bigger lineups throughout the season with Towns and Robinson together, I hope we don't see any of Yabusele and Towns together because defensively that'll be horrendous.
Nightmare.
Um,
I am excited to see their bench though actually be utilized because with McBride, Clarkson, and Yabusele coming off, and if you have Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench, that's a really solid 4 guys coming off the bench right away for you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So I'm excited to see what they do offensively, especially with Bridges and Anunoby there with Towns for the full season. I think that all those guys will play a bit better. Well, I don't know all of them, but particularly Mikal Bridges. I think he'll play a lot better than he did last year. I think it was a little inconsistent for him. OG was great. Cat was great. I don't know how much better it could go for those two guys, and you know how great Jalen Brunson is. Josh Hart will be someone to watch for because we saw in the Indy series how he kind of got played off the floor a little bit, or how when he was on the floor, the lineups just weren't as great. They played better with 2 bigs on the floor. So those are things to watch out for this season. But as far as the second question with the Cavs and the negative connotation, I guess, on them, I don't like it, but they have put those connotations on themselves with how they performed in the playoffs. So whether we like it or not, they have put themselves in the position where they need to prove themselves come postseason time. So to me, it doesn't matter what seed they're in. They could finish number 1. They could finish. They could finish outside of the top 2. I think they could be a 4 seed. I mean, a lot of these teams could have a crazy regular season jump that the Cavs had last year,
right?
And overtake them. But again, I don't think that though if they finish lower in the standings, I don't think there should be anything. It wouldn't make sense to put any negative connotations on them for the regular season because
I got you. It's all about the playoffs.
It's all about the playoffs, and it's like if we shouldn't care about the regular season, then why are we paying attention to them if they finish lower when we were basically dogging on them for being the 1 seed and they're not performing? So it all comes down to them needing to perform in the playoffs.
I completely agree. If they obviously me having them in the first seed is just what I hope, but who knows? Maybe the injuries in the first half of the year really do hamper them a lot, like Orlando did last year, and they dropped to the 7th seed. I don't think the Cavs by any means will drop that far in the standings, but if they happen to drop out of the top 2, I agree. As long as they make it past the second round in the playoffs, I'm okay.
But I do think that they need home court advantage to do that.
They need a seed. I don't think they'll drop below top 4. I think that's the lowest.
Right. I guess at least I think they need home court in the second round in order to pull it off. I
was just curious.
We'll see, because that is something that maybe we'll see throughout the season. I mean, this Cavs team, while they have been super duper solid over the last few years and great in the regular season last year, we haven't really seen them pull off any like upsets on anything. Like they haven't really proved they could go on the road and win a crazy, playoff game besides game 3 of Indy last year. I don't really count the Miami games last year, just the big drop off there. But either way, excited. Of course, a long way to go until we figure that out with our Cavaliers. But overall, lots of fun, lots of parity. Let us know what you guys think about our standings predictions. The hottest take, I guess, let's see, the top 3 hottest takes are Hawks at 6, Heat at 6, or Bucks at 12. It would appear that Joey, or the Bulls at 8. Bulls at 8. So we all have a hot take in here.
Bulls at 8. Yeah. I'm shocked. Bulls at 8 being the
That's what it's for, man. It's for the hot takes.
That is what it's for. And to see which one of them comes true, because I'm sure one of those is going to somehow come true.
One of those will come true.
I'm the biggest Heat fan all year now.
Well, yeah, I bet it'll be even crazier for the next episode when we have the Western Conference standing. That is a dogfight of a conference, yes. And I can't wait to get that one started. But until then, that is it for us here. You guys have anything else before we get out of here?
No way. So. Good episode, fellas. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more NBA content. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.